The containment bay doors hissed open, and Marcus stepped into the sterile white chamber with his toolkit in hand. He was just a mechanic, a grease monkey assigned to the Deep Space Research Station orbiting Kepler 442b. His job was simple: fix the broken things, keep the air flowing, make sure nobody died from a malfunctioning life support system. He did not expect to find an alien. She was sprawled across the floor near the atmospheric processor, her body a peculiar shade of violet blue that reminded Marcus of Earth's twilight sky. 4 arms, 2 legs, and a face that was almost human, except for the 3 eyes arranged in a triangle pattern. She wore what looked like environmental gear, though it was clearly designed for a physiology nothing like his own. "Hey, you okay?" Marcus called out, setting down his toolkit. The alien's middle eye focused on him while the other 2 swiveled independently, scanning the room. She made a sound that the station's translator struggled with before spitting out a synthesized response. "Human. Assistance required. Critical situation." Marcus approached carefully. The station had protocols for first contact, none of which he had been trained for. He was a mechanic, not a diplomat. But the alien was clearly in distress, her breathing rapid and shallow. "What happened?" he asked. "Your atmospheric system. The oxygen concentration fluctuation device." Her hand gestured toward the processor behind her. "I attempted to recalibrate from inside the maintenance shaft. The compression valve engaged while I was adjusting the resonance chamber." Marcus winced. He knew that valve. It was a brutal piece of machinery designed to handle extreme pressure differentials. If someone got caught in it during a compression cycle, the results would be catastrophic. "Where are you hurt?" The alien pointed to her lower right arm. Marcus saw it then, a metal rod about 1/2 meter long, jutting from her forearm where it clearly should not be. The rod was part of the processor's internal framework, and somehow it had been driven straight through her limb during the compression cycle. "Oh no," Marcus breathed. Okay. Don't move. I need to see how bad this is." He knelt beside her, examining the wound. The rod had penetrated cleanly, entering just below her elbow joint and exiting near her wrist. There was fluid leaking from the wound, a luminescent green substance that he assumed was her equivalent of blood. But the flow was slow, controlled. Either she had incredible clotting ability, or her species had redundant circulatory systems. "The rod must be removed," she said, her voice tight with pain. "It is disrupting my neural pathways. I am losing motor control." Marcus could see it now. Her lower right hand was twitching, fingers curling and uncurling involuntarily. The rod must have severed or compressed something important. "I'm not a doctor," Marcus said. "I'm just a mechanic. You are sufficient," she replied. "I have analyzed your species' medical knowledge through your station's database. Human emergency medicine protocols are applicable. You must extract the foreign object and seal the wound." Marcus swallowed hard. He had taken basic first aid courses, sure. He knew how to slap a bandage on a cut or perform CPR. But alien surgery? That was way beyond his pay grade. "Look, I should call the medical bay. They have actual doctors who can—" "No time," the alien interrupted. "The contamination from your atmosphere is reacting with my internal fluids. I estimate 17 minutes before systemic failure begins. The medical bay is 23 minutes away at maximum transit speed." Marcus felt his heart hammering. 17 minutes. He looked at the alien, at the rod piercing her arm, at the green fluid slowly pooling beneath her. He thought about walking away, calling for help, letting the professionals handle it. But she would be dead before they arrived. "All right," he said, opening his toolkit. "Tell me what to do." The alien's translator crackled. "First, you must stabilize the rod. It cannot shift during extraction, or it will cause additional damage to the surrounding tissue. Marcus pulled out a set of clamps and carefully secured them around the rod on either side of her arm. The alien hissed in pain but remained still. "Good," she said. "Now you must create countertraction. Pull the arm backward while simultaneously pushing the rod forward. This will minimize the tissue drag during extraction." Marcus positioned himself, one hand gripping her arm above the wound, the other grasping the rod near the entry point. He could feel the alien trembling beneath his touch. "On 3?" he asked. "Proceed." He did not count. He just pulled and pushed in one smooth motion, and the rod slid free with a wet sound that made his stomach turn. Green fluid spurted from both holes in her arm, and the alien made a noise that the translator refused to interpret. "Pressure," she gasped. "Apply pressure to both wounds." Marcus dropped the rod and pressed his hands against her arm, one on each side. The fluid was warm and had a strange consistency, thicker than human blood, but not quite gel-like. It oozed between his fingers despite his efforts. "My medkit," the alien said, gesturing weakly toward a pouch on her belt. "Silver cylinder. Apply to wounds." Marcus grabbed the cylinder with one bloody hand and examined it. There was a nozzle on one end. He pointed it at the entry wound and pressed the activation stud. A foam erupted from the nozzle, expanding rapidly as it made contact with her skin. It sealed the wound in seconds, hardening into a flexible seal. He repeated the process on the exit wound, watching as the foam did its work. The alien's breathing began to slow, becoming more regular. "The neural disruption is ceasing," she said after a moment. "You have succeeded." Marcus sat back on his heels, his hands shaking. He was covered in alien blood, his heart still racing from the adrenaline. He had just performed emergency surgery on an extraterrestrial being in a maintenance bay, using a toolkit and some alien medical supplies. "Who are you?" he asked. "Why were you in our atmospheric processor?" The alien slowly pushed herself into a sitting position, cradling her injured arm. "My name is Vela. I am a systems engineer from the coordination fleet. We detected anomalies in your station's life support systems from deep space. When we received no response to our hails, I volunteered to board and investigate." "We never got any hails," Marcus said. "I suspected as much. Your communications array is malfunctioning. It is likely transmitting on frequencies your species cannot detect." Vela flexed her injured hand experimentally. "I came to help. Instead, I nearly died in your equipment." Marcus laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. "You came to fix our station and ended up needing to be fixed yourself." "An ironic outcome," Vela agreed. Her 3 eyes focused on him with an intensity that made him uncomfortable. "You saved my life, human. This creates a significant obligation in my culture." "No obligation necessary," Marcus said. "I was just doing what anyone would do." "That is demonstrably false," Vela said. "Most beings would have fled or called for help that would arrive too late. You acted with competence and courage despite your fear. This is noteworthy." Marcus stood and offered Vela his hand. She stared at it for a moment before taking it with her upper left hand, allowing him to pull her to her feet. She was tall, nearly 7 feet, and had to stoop slightly to avoid hitting her head on the ceiling. "Your atmospheric processor is still malfunctioning," she said. "With your assistance, I believe I can complete the repairs safely." "You just got impaled by the thing," Marcus protested. "Maybe you should rest." "I have 3 functional arms remaining," Vela pointed out, "and you have 2. Together, we are sufficiently equipped." Marcus looked at the processor, at the alien, at his bloody hands. He thought about his simple job, description about the quiet life he had chosen on this remote station. Then he thought about Vela, traveling across the void to help strangers, risking her life to fix their broken equipment. "All right," he said, picking up his toolkit. "Let's fix this thing." But you're doing exactly what I say this time. No more crawling into compression valves. Vela made a sound that the translator interpreted as amusement. Agreed, human. I will defer to your expertise. They worked together for the next 2 hours, Vela providing technical guidance while Marcus did the physical labor. She explained the elegant efficiency of her species' technology, how it interfaced with human systems in ways that created unexpected resonances. Marcus showed her the pragmatic durability of human engineering, built to withstand abuse and keep working long past its theoretical lifespan. When they finally closed the access panel and the atmospheric processor hummed to life with perfect efficiency, Marcus felt a sense of satisfaction he had not experienced in years. "Thank you," Vela said, "for the repairs and for my life." "Thank you," Marcus replied, "for coming all this way to help a bunch of humans you'd never met." Vela's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. "Perhaps this is what your species calls humanity for humanity. We do what must be done, regardless of species or circumstance." Marcus smiled. "Yeah, I guess that's exactly what it is." As Vela departed for her ship, promising to send proper communications equipment, Marcus cleaned the green blood from his hands and thought about the strange turn his day had taken. He was still just a mechanic, but maybe, just maybe, he was also something more.